My name is Bilgis Wadoodi. I am from Canada. I presently live in Canada, but originally from the Caribbean, Jamaica. My goal for being here is to bring my family, to introduce my son to Imam Hussein, and this is my second visit, and to be reacquainted with this space. It's a piece of paradise, I've heard someone else say, and I would agree. Paradise is mobile. It's in your heart, it's in your prayers, and when you come to this space, you see a lot of it in terms of the tears, the anguish, the lamenting. People just give of themselves completely without worrying or feeling embarrassed about crying, without feeling embarrassed about showing such emotions. And in particular, inside the mosques, there is love expressed. People share, people you don't even know, people that don't even speak the same language. There is this affection of this unity with salawat, this unity that we have joined together with prayers, that we have this unity of a love for Imam Hussein. And then there's this physical contact after the prayers to exchange that we have done this. Alhamdulillah, Ameen. And then maybe there might be a brief gesturing of what is your name or what country you are from. And the amount of countries that are in this one space is also a testament to the love of Imam Hussein. So even when language seems to be a barrier, somehow that love crosses over that barrier because people will gesture to make their point come across. You find a way and you do communicate, and the love comes through. Qualities of Imam Hussein. Selflessness. It's really a space about giving. Whether it's giving what's in your hand, what's in your pocket, what's in your heart. It's continually giving. It's not about me, I got here, it's my turn in line, I'm next, you're stepping on my foot, that's my torba. It isn't about that. It's really about, if two people nudge in the same space, Bismillah. It's about giving that space so that we all have an opportunity to move forward, we all have an opportunity to prayers. Sometimes things are very tight-packed. Again, it is without grumbling, without arguing, without bickering, about giving. If someone does step on your toe, again, it's initiating that giving of forgiveness and letting the moment, and don't let that change your ibadat, your worship, your time, your mindset. Because your time here should be in constant dhikr. And that is what Imam Hussein, in my understanding, had endless time of always giving love up until his final moment. This year, this is my second year to Karbala. The second year is really to have my son come. He was not here with me in my first visit with my daughter. So my second visit is really to have him be introduced to Imam Hussein in this manner, and yet to reacquaint myself and my daughter with this feeling. I've seen many rejuvenated from their visit, and I too feel the same, because after my first visit, I wanted to do the same. Many things that are culturally a part of this space, I wanted to take home, or many things that I see here that we do not have where I am from in Canada. I wanted to keep that appreciation and that value. So when people here don't see, people here, I see people that the mosque will give to people that don't have homes. They would provide shelter. I want to give that sense of giving back with me, and to have my son see that this is something to appreciate here and to take that back, because it's easy to take things for granted. People that don't have, give more sometimes, and people that do have, give less. So always give. and you will always be replenished. There's something to appreciate about this space, about this place. When I am in the mosque, the air is lighter, it's cooler, it's perfumed, it is completely surrounded by others that want to worship without any distractions from media, without any distractions from anything or anyone that takes you away from your focus of your worship. In this space, it's beautiful when you look up and you see the tile and the kaleidoscope of art on the ceilings, and to know that the people that created them did it in wudu. The people that created them dedicated their lives to it. So it makes you appreciate all that has gone into the time to create this space. So my time in this space should be a time of appreciation. For the same reasons I listed earlier, you cannot read about it and experience it. Some education you have to touch, you have to experience it, and you come and you feel it. As I say, when I look at the architecture, there's a team, a genius that works in keeping the history alive, and yet I'm impressed that the fans that keeps everybody cool, and yet you would think with so many thousands of people you should be overheated. But it is the coolest space to be in. The air is perfumed, and you see the itter coming through the vents. And even the science of the itter, how is it not a fragrance that is offensive to anyone? That in and of itself is something of a perfume. How did one decide that this is the final fragrance that we're going to choose? That nobody is sneezing because of an allergy. Everything in the space resonates. Love for Imam Hussein. It's funny when you walk in and you see the taftish ladies, the ladies that will check you to see if you are carrying anything that you should not. There are posters that remind you of appropriate dress, that even though one might be wearing a hijab, certain clothing is not acceptable for being in the mosque. And I come from a country where, while one may wear a hijab, there are still visual distractions to one's prayer. So again, it still goes back to when you're in the space of the mosque, that is completely about your focus upon worship. So that makes me curtail my dress, that I too must dress and remind myself that when I'm going to worship, you know what, the tracksuit may not be the best choice with the hoodie. Maybe I will make a choice that is more conducive to reminding myself that I am going to put on something more pleasing to Allah, that I am going to take the time to perfume myself for Allah, that I'm going to take my time to make sure the space around me is a reminder of this brief moment that I had here in Karbala. You know, I really can't pick one, because each event, it's like saying which member of the Prophet's family, peace be upon them, was more giving, which one was more selfless. And to say that an infant gave less than an adult, each gave the best that they could of their time. I can't pick one, because I cry when I think about baby Sakina not having her earrings. And it represents how children can understand what they understand about Islam, what they understand about Ashura, and they can still give. The fact that an infant life is also affected, and the giving of a child in leaning to catch an arrow also is giving. So even an infant is giving. Imam Hussein, Hazrat Abbas, his arms were given. And every single moment, I cannot pick one. So I think what I take from it is there's no one isolating moment in my life where I can be selfless and give, that it must be an ongoing from my birth to my death all the time that I must give to represent all stages of my life. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. If you ever think you've given, it's not enough. Give more. The fact that you are alive is something. If you think you feel hopelessness, try to imagine yourself inside your own grave, in your own shrine, and try to imagine who is going to be there to cry for you, and what is it that you didn't do that you should have done. Try to remember if you had offended somebody. Did you apologize? Did you remove the knots in the relationships that you have? So using your time every day to make those knots in your relationship with people and in your actions become smooth, so that your time is well spent, because you can't get it back. And if you think your suffering is bad because you have one leg, I see people here with no legs still here and wanting to be here. I see people dragging and giving everything that they have. They didn't grumble about, I didn't get the best hotel. There are people that came with their last dollars and have no hotels and sleep outside. But the mosque provides a shelter. The mosque provides wind and cool air cooling. The mosque provides that same perfuming when it is time for prayers. I see food given out and shared. When you think you've given, give more. Because when you've given, Allah will always replace it.
Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate it.
Alhamdulillah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shahnaaz Alidina. I come from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada. I'm a doctoral student pursuing my PhD degree in language, culture, and teaching. Karbala is very dear to me. It sanctifies my belief and brings that connection of imama, which I believe in, home. So when I think of Karbala, I think of it not only as a land for the people of Iraq, but it is the central land for Shia Muslims. So coming here really is to give my commitment to my faith, to sort of strengthen my iman and bring home what I've always believed in the Ahl al-Bayt. I think it's the diversity of people who come here. When I look around, I find not only diversity in age, but it's very culturally diverse. You find people from different ethnicities here, but having a common goal. Everyone comes here to pay their respects and salutation to Imam al-Hussein. So this gives me that feeling that Shia Islam, and with the coming of our 12th Imam, this is the scene it is going to be. That Imam will be the Imam of Muslims of this diversity. I don't know if I am able to justify that, to be able to say that this is what you should have. Because after all, whose visitor are you? For Imam Hussein, anybody can come here. But what I think is fundamental is having that quality of tolerance. Because you come across so many different kind of people, and being able to accommodate each other is so vital, because it's very easy to be able to step on each other's toes. So the quality of tolerance which Imam Hussein himself practiced is very fundamental when you come to this space. The energy which you get from Karbala is totally different. I would like to compare the visitation to Karbala just like Hajj. Although Hajj is an obligatory trip which you need to make once in your lifetime, visit to Imam al-Hussein is highly recommended, but it's not obligatory. And yet the number of people that flock here not only once a year, just like the Hajj, but throughout the year is phenomenal. So that whole concept of wanting to be here is not imposed on anybody, but is very willingly done. And people want to come here to pay their respects. It's something that is pulling the Shia believers from all over the world to come here. And I feel it's not only the ability to pay respect, but it's the energy, the positive and spiritual energy which you draw from here that gives you that motivation not to just say salam from your home, but to come and say it personally here to Imam al-Hussein. I'm not sure how I can put it that it affects my life socially and culturally, but definitely yes, I would be able to say that from my social life, that aspect is always there when you feel or when you see others going. So that motivation that I aspire to be one of those people who will visit the shrine of Imam al-Hussein. So within society, those amongst us who goes is really seen as somebody dear, who has that opportunity to go. And you come to realize that it's not only, you don't only need to have your material means to be able to come here, you need to be invited to come here. So you may have the money, you may have the finances, but if you're really not meant to come here, then you won't make it here. I haven't given a thought to that, whether I would encourage my non-Shia friends to visit here. But it's something to think about. I would just like to bring maybe a non-Shia person just to come here and feel the energy. That would be something really good. I would encourage more tolerance within ourselves, because this is something I learn and will take back from here. You know, when I see mothers with their young babies standing in the hot sun waiting to get into the shrines, having all that patience, or even sleeping on the streets, that is really some lessons I'm going to take back. It is said that anybody who comes to the shrine of Imam al-Hussein and sincerely asks for his forgiveness will be forgiven. So I am hoping that when I leave here, I will get that feeling that I'm going back fresh. I'm going back as a newborn, having another opportunity in life to be able to get closer to my Lord. So this visit to the land of Karbala is very special. It gives you another opportunity to get spiritually cleansed and draw yourself on a different level towards Allah. What draws me very tragic, what is very tragic to me, is the concept of women being paraded after the tragedy of Karbala. That really hurts, because knowing the family of Ahl al-Bayt and the way they preserve their sanctity, to be torn of that really was. And that is also what our fourth Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin, would always cry about. When he was asked about the whole tragedy, what was most hurtful, he would always cry, Asham, Asham. That was tragic. And that's what is very tragic to me as well. We hear a lot about Iraq when you're out there. The insecurity, the It's not safe to go there, but you need to come here to experience. This is the most safest place to be in, and the most highly spiritual place. You need to be here to experience that. I cannot tell you, but you need to come here yourself. And don't be convinced that this place is not safe. If you were to die, you will die anywhere. What a better place to die than Karbala. So don't be afraid. Come here and get that spirituality, get that energy which is booming in this place. Alhamdulillah.